Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode of our EAFC 25 Glory Hunter Career Mode Challenge. We are returning today with Season 12, and after a fantastic episode last time out with Manchester United, where we set out to win the Conference League and did exactly that. We've given ourselves a good few seasons towards the end of the challenge to clinch the final two trophies that we need, those being the Ligue 1 trophy in France and the Coppa Italia as well. So today, if you haven't already been able to work out, we will be heading back to France. I've already made the switch to PSG, and I said last time that we were in France, I just don't think it's possible, especially when simming, to compete with PSG over a 34 game season. I really wanted to try and win it with somebody else other than PSG, like I did the first time we attempted the Glory Hunter challenge, but I just think when you're simming practically every game, it is just too difficult. So I'm sorry guys, I've gone basic and we're heading to PSG to win the French League. Yeah, I am sorry for being a little bit basic guys, but this PSG team is not as good as the team they've got, I would say, this season in real life. We're still probably the best team in France with some great star quality, but we are going to have to bring in some reinforcements in the summer. And although they won the Ligue 1 title last year, they were knocked out in the Coupe de France last 16 and the last 16 of the Champions League as well. So obviously those other competitions mean nothing to us, but if we do want to make sure we win that Ligue 1 title, then we are going to have to make some adjustments to the squad. The board this year want us to, of course, win the league, win the cup, and win the Champions League, which is no real surprise. Obviously, as I've said, my only objective is the Ligue 1 title. As for the budget, well, we are at PSG, so I'm not really surprised at that. £219 million, and I will probably make some money from player sales as well. I have to say, the transfer targets that I'm looking at are all going to cost an absolute fortune because I really want to bring in some real world-class players. So I'm not sure that 219 million is really going to get us that far with the signings that I'm looking to bring in. But what we'll do is we'll start simming through and we will shift on the players like we always have done throughout the course of this save. Shift on the players we don't want at the club before we go through our signings. So let's start simming through and see who leaves the club. All right, guys, here is our first sale of the summer, and that is 34-year-old Samu Costa heading to Hoffenheim for 18.5 million. He's pretty highly rated at 84, but at 34 years of age, he's just going to continue declining pretty rapidly. So I'd rather cash in on him now. And here's our second departure of the summer. That is our backup keeper, Wojciech Back, heading to Chelsea for 23.5. This has been a strategy I've used quite a lot throughout the course of the save, is to sell my backup keeper if they've got some transfer value, just to increase our budget. And there is our next departure, and it's actually a relatively big one with Eduardo Bove heading to AS Monaco for 26.5 million. Similarly to Costa, he's now 33 years of age, so going to decline pretty rapidly. I'd rather just get the money in so we can reinvest it elsewhere. And there goes another sale. I'm not even sure who that is. Oh, it's our right back Mosquera. Yes, heading to Crystal Palace for 24 million. Oh, and that was a 2-for-1 as well, as Husni heads to Stoke City for a small fee of 6.5 million. Deal was up at the end of the season, so we couldn't get any more, but I'm happy just to get him off the books. Well, another couple of quick sales. Ayman Kari heading to Rangers for a fee of 9.5 million. Again, not going to get any game time here. And we also see Zakarian heading to Frankfurt for 38.5 million, which will put a nice bit of money back into the budget. And guys, this is a big sale, and not one that I was really expecting to happen, but we had a big bid from Atalanta. It's our regen striker, Danny Fernandez. We sold him for £120 million to Atalanta. He's pretty good, to be fair, but he didn't manage that many goals last season, and for that amount of money, well, I've already got a target in mind of who I want up top, so I'm more than happy with 120 million. All right then guys, we're nearly done with our sales, and this is another pretty chunky one that will add some money to the budget. Bruno Moreira heading to Manchester City for 30 million. He's a decent squad player at 81 overall, but at 29 years of age, I think there is a better value for money out there on the market. Well, there is what I believe will probably be our final sale of the summer, as this pretty awful centre-back Lejeune heads to Saudi Arabia for 1.7 million. Well guys, there's one final sale to close out the summer transfer window. That is now 35-year-old Aurelien Tchouameni. Again, just the age is putting me off. He's declining already before we've even got to the start of the season. They reckon we could have got more money for him, but I'm not so convinced. What I'm going to do is now go and spend the absolute monster transfer budget that we've got. I think our spending may be over 500 million by the end of the summer, so I'm looking forward to this. I'll see you in just a moment. Alright then guys, this is probably the craziest summer transfer window of all time. There is 1 hour left on the clock in deadline day, and we've got no money left because we have spent 525 million on our transfers. £500 million spent from PSG this summer. It has been absolutely crazy, but I don't want to spend too long on this because otherwise we'll be here forever. But I will go through our signings. The first of those being Gianluigi Donnarumma coming back to the club. We actually got him back practically on a free. We sent one of our midfielders to Newcastle in a swap deal. So an 88 overall goalkeeper. Yes, he's 36 years of age now, and I know the relationship is practically completely broken with Donnarumma and the club, but the realism has gone out the window in this transfer window. So yeah, don't expect too many realistic signings. Donnarumma is our first as our backup goalkeeper. And my first real signing of the summer came in the form of Ayoub Bouadi. I don't really know a huge amount about this guy in real life, but I know he's got some pretty decent potential in game. The reason I picked him up was because we got him for a steal at 46.5 million. He's only 27 years of age, so he is real young in real life, but I love how well balanced his stats are in that midfield, and he can get forward, he can defend, and I think playing in our midfield three, he is a perfect piece of the puzzle. Now, next up, we have a regen who I've been keeping an eye on for a while in the save, and that is Sidi Sacco. He's a left-footed central defender currently playing for Athletic Bilbao. We picked him up for 73.5 million, but he just looks like an absolute beast. He's 6'1", he's quick, he's strong, he's a good defender, and he's decent on the ball. And I think playing on the left-hand side of our defence, being able to play down that left channel, naturally being left-footed, again, like Bouadi, I think he really fits this system nicely. Like PSG have with William Pacho in real life, I think Sacco is sort of our William Pacho reincarnated. And next up, we have more of a squad player, but again, a player I've been keeping an eye on throughout the course of this save, and that is Ezekiel Banzuzi. I picked him up from Lazio. Again, such a cheap fee of just 25 million. He is 30, so he's starting to get on a little bit, but we shouldn't see any decline from him for a couple of years. He's 6'3", and again, those listed positions, CM, CDM, and Cam, he can do everything, this lad. He's got great energy through the heart of midfield. He's tall, he's a presence, and I think as an option off the bench or coming in if we do have any injuries, he is absolutely perfect. He gives us energy off the bench, as I say, and coming on for some tired legs in the late game scenarios, I think he is a great pickup. And for such a small fee of 25 million, I literally couldn't have asked for any better. And moving on, our next signing was at fullback. We, of course, sold the Spanish right-back that we had to, I think it was Crystal Palace, and we've definitely upgraded with this man, Javiro Reed. Again, don't know a huge amount about him in real life. I think he plays for Feyenoord. In the save, he'd moved on to Torino, and he cost us a pretty hefty lump fee of 45.5 million. But again, at 85 overall, there aren't too many right-backs backs in the game at this current stage that are going to be better than Reed. He's pretty solid on the ball. He's got great energy. And again, I think he's just pretty solid down that right-hand side. So I'm really happy to bring him in. Now, my next signing is just a quick one, a squad player. Obviously, we sold Tchouaméni towards the end of the window. And whilst James Garner doesn't quite have the quality of Tchouaméni, he is just brought in as a squad player. But again, he's still got great energy even at 34. He's 6 foot. He's pretty athletic. And as we've seen in real life at the start of the Premier League season, he can fill in at right back and left back as well, which he's been doing for Everton throughout the course of the opening few weekends. So again, he's going to start declining pretty rapidly at 34, but for just £6 million, he's just another body in the squad. Now, our final 3 signings, guys, I've left the best till last. This is where most of our transfer budget has gone, and the first player that we have brought back to the club is Frenchman Desiré Doué. I am such a big fan of his in real life. He just plays football like he's having a kickabout with his mates in the park. He looks like he's really enjoying his time on the pitch, and he is a serious talent. We picked him up from Crystal Palace for $95.5 million, and again, now at 30 years of age, that's a little bit scary to think with him being so young in real life, but he is in the prime of his career. 89 overall, and again, he's just got great quality. I think playing off that left-hand side and coming infield where he can play centrally as well, he is going to be a real danger. And our front 3 is seriously deadly this season. And moving on from Desiré Doué, another player that I brought back to the club this summer. Of course, PSG have such a great, young, talented squad in real life. You knew I had to bring some of them back. And alongside Doué is Portuguese midfielder João Neves, also now 30 years of age in the game. But he is just fantastic. He's the player that just keeps everything ticking kind of at the base of that midfield as he does in real life. We had to pay a big fee of 110 million, and he's on a 200 grand a week contract. But again, this summer transfer window has just been a bit of fun for me. I had £500 million to spend to put a team together, and I'm really happy with the way it is shaping up. We've got one final signing, and he is a regen rather than a real life player, but it's someone that you guys will recognise if you've been following the save so far, and it was our captain at Atletico Madrid, Hugo Mercado. I absolutely loved him in that one season that we had with Atletico, and I was really kind of gutted that we actually won everything in one season because I didn't get a chance to use the squad even further. We signed Lenny Yoro once again in the previous episode with United, and I decided to bring Mercado in. He's 28 years of age, so in his prime. We paid 122.5 million, and again, the realism's just gone out the window. I don't think the captain would ever leave, but yeah, he's 90 overall. We know how good he is from our time at Atletico Madrid, and again, I am really looking forward to using him once again. So the squad is looking absolutely fantastic. I've kind of based the team similarly to the real life PSG team with the 4-3-3, and they've got kind of Ruiz on the left. We've got Christos, the Greek midfielder, and then Buadi on the right coming in to replace Vitinha, who's a bit more of a box-to-box with João Neves at the base of that midfield. Again, we've got Barcola and Doué on the wings and Mercado up top. Slightly different, a proper number 9, but I think this team is absolutely fantastic. I'll be honest, guys, if we don't win the league this season, I will be massively surprised. I think we will probably win it at a canter, which means that there probably won't be too many played games in today's episode, which is a shame because I do really want to use this team. So we'll maybe play the games against some of the bigger teams, but I think what I'm going to do is sim through to January, and we'll see how we're doing at around the halfway stage. We are in the Champions League, and of course we've got the Coupe de France as well, but we're not going to play any games in those competitions because they mean nothing for us. Hopefully we're in a really exciting title race, and it will come down to the end of the season and we can jump into the final few games. But to be honest, looking at the squad we've built, I think we're going to win it at a canter. Well, guys, we've made it to the 1st of January, and as you would probably have expected, we look as if we've been going pretty well. We've been drawn to FC Anarchy in the Coupe de France last 32. In the Champions League, we're currently sat in 10th, 3 wins, 2 draws, and a defeat, but it's all pretty tight at the top. And in the Ligue 1 table, we are, as expected, top of the league. 13 wins from our 15 games. Monaco, to be fair to them, have stuck with us and are within touching distance, 6 points behind. But you'd imagine that gap would probably just continue to get extended at the top. It's like what I said when we were at Monaco. It is just impossible to compete with PSG. I feel a little bit cheaty going to PSG to win the Ligue 1 trophy, but obviously we need it for the challenge, and it is just the easiest way to do it. It's so difficult to compete with PSG. But I think what I'm going to do, guys, is we have got a few more trickier games coming up in January, is I'm going to sim through to the end of February, where we actually take on Monaco on the leap year day, the 29th of February, and that is away from home at the Stade Louis, where of course we did manage for a few years. So I definitely want to try this PSG team out, and against our former team seems like a great chance to do so. So I'm going to sim through to the end of Feb, and we'll see how we're doing before jumping into that game against Monaco. Well, guys, as we made it through to the Monaco game, you can see the results are starting to slip up, and we got knocked out of the Coupe de France in the last 32 against a second tier side. That is really not very good. That happens so often in career mode, but obviously I don't really care. We are still top, but there is just 2 points in it with 11 games left to play, and of course we will be taking on Monaco next. In the Champions League, I believe we did make it through, and we will take on Leverkusen in the last 16, but obviously we know our only real focus is on the Ligue 1 trophy this season. I want to take a look at the player stats and see who our top scorer is. No surprises, it is Hugo with 21 goals. Barcola and Doué doing really well from the wings as well, both of them scoring 11. And Lewis Hall, wow, 6 goals and 2 assists. And nice to see all 3 of our midfielders chipping in with some goals as well. The assist, Barcola is flying with 13 assists in all competitions, 11 of those coming in the league. He is doing absolutely fantastic. So it looks as if the team's doing pretty well. The results have just slipped over the last month or so, but this is quite a big clash against AS Monaco then, returning back to the ground that we managed at for 2.5 years. And I couldn't get close to PSG during my time at the club, but at the moment they're pretty close to me, 2 points behind, and a win here will see them go top with 10 games left to play. So we want to make sure we get the win, extend that gap to 5, and that will give us a little bit of breathing room at the top of the table as we look to win our penultimate trophy of the save. So let's jump into it then. Monaco away from home at the Stade Louis II. Allez les Parisiens. I just realised heading into this game I've not changed any of the kit numbers or the player customization. With the regens, I always like to change the boots and, you know, give them a bit of customization because they all come out pretty generic, but I've got to do it heading into this game. I'm feeling pretty confident though against this Monaco side. I know it pretty much inside and out, having managed there for, as I said earlier, 2.5 years, and this PSG team is absolutely phenomenal. I feel like we should have the quality to get the win today. Of course, Monaco having a good season, just 2 points behind us. It's been quite a quiet half so far, but here's Lewis Hall given license to get forward. Christos will let fly, and it's a good save by Pacheco in between the sticks for Monaco. That's the closest either side has come, and I think we are going to be deadlocked at 0-0 heading into the break. It's not been a particularly good game, as I've said, but at the moment I would probably take a point, although I'd love all 3 to extend our lead at the top. But here come Monaco, and right on the stroke of half time, Monaco do take the lead. John Duran with the goal, And as it stands, Monaco will be heading top of the league with 10 games to play. Am I really going to bottle it with this £1 billion squad? Yeah, that probably would be one of my worst bottles, is losing this league title, considering the position we were in as well. We weren't miles clear at the top, but we were clear. And once you give PSG a lead, you expect they are probably going to hold on to it as Doué comes infield. Doué gets us back on level terms, and that is more like it from PSG. Duran round the corner for the Oscarson. Oh my. I was going to say the Iceman, and it ended up coming out with Oscarson. The Oscarson gets Monaco back in front, and after a pretty quiet first 45 minutes, we've had 3 goals in the space of 10 in-game minutes as the Iceman gets Monaco back in front again. Well, that was just really poor defending from me. Got to get closer as Mercado spins. Mercado does not miss those, and this game has just erupted into life. 2-2, game on again, and it seems like every time we kick off there's a goal. And now Chanuzun, who can hit them. Chevalier gets behind it and shovels it behind for the corner, which Minte will come across to take. It's into the near post. We've not really got bodies there, and Doué gets something on it, and then, brings down his man. Dangerous position, this. And I'm hoping that's just going to be a yellow for Doué. And it's not, it's red. Oh my goodness. Well, a turn here. What on earth has happened there? I slid in to try and make a block or something. It's pretty late. He takes out Barcola as well. I'm not sure that it's a red. I'm not surprised that my manager is not very happy on the sidelines. And now Oscarson has a chance from the free kick. He and Uzun are over it. Oscarson lets it roll. And Uzun with a brilliant goal for Monaco, who are back in front and now have a man advantage as well and could be heading to pole position in Ligue. Can we create one final opportunity to get a point out of this? That's nicely worked. Banzuzi, Mercado onside. It's 3-3. It's been a cracker here in Monaco, and even with 10 men, we keep the pressure on. Banzuzi shows some lovely footwork, and Mercado takes his time and just slides it in past the keeper, who maybe should have done better. But you can't give Hugo that amount of time. He is a bagsman, and he's got 2 today and gets us at back level with 10 to play. No, Oscarson. Oh, I don't think Chevalier knew much about it, and now we can break with Mercado. He's not got much support, and is there going to be a late winner today? Mercado to João Neves, and now Banzuzi finds Kvaratskhelia off the bench. Nice feet by Kvara. And there's Neves on the edge. It's João Neves from range. Denied by Pacheco. And PSG will have a late corner. Christos has come across to take. It will go short to Kvaratskhelia, who gives it away. And that is going to do it, I believe. Unless... Oh, Kvara does well and will prevent the corner. I think this time that is going to do it. There is the whistle in what turned out to be an absolutely crazy game. It was quite slow for the first 45 minutes until that goal went in just before the break. And the second half completely erupted into life. In total, we had 6 goals, we had a red card, and lots of goal-mouth action. The gap stays the same at the top, with PSG staying at 2 points clear, but honestly, there's still a lot to play for in the final 10 games, as this title race looks as if it might go down to the wire. What a game. Alright guys, well after that game against Monaco, I've simmed a little bit further in the season. We managed to get through our Champions League tie against Bayer Leverkusen, and we've won most of our games in the league. We did have a 3-3 draw with Auxerre, but yeah, we're doing pretty well. Into the Champions League semi-finals as well. And in the league at the moment, we've got a 5-point gap to AS Monaco in second with 5 games left to play. So it's not done yet. It's definitely not done. But our next 2 games are against Lille and then Marseille. So 2 pretty big games before we close out with Stade Rennais, Toulouse and Montpellier. How are Stade Rennais doing as well? They're third, so I might actually play Lille, Marseille and Stade Rennais because they're 3 pretty big games, and then obviously we'll want to see the trophy lift as well. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do, because obviously we've built this team, I do want to give it a go. I want to use it. I could just sim and we'd probably get the results we need, but I'm going to jump into the game against Lille as they are 4th in the league. I believe Monaco have quite an easy fixture, yes, at home to EA Guingamp, so I would expect they will probably win to keep the pressure on. So let's see if we can get our first win playing this season as we travel to Lille, looking to take 1 step closer to the Ligue title. Allez les Parisiens. Oh, I forgot to change the kit numbers and the boots once again. I'll probably forget for the remainder of this video, to be fair. Oh, Mercado. Oh, Hugo. Oh, it's wide. That would have been unbelievable. Definitely would have been a contender for goal of the save, but he just flashes it wide. But I was just going to say, this is a pretty strong Lille side, so you can see why they're doing it pretty well in the league. Captained by Marc Guéhi, they've got Liam Delap, Joe Bellingham, so they've got some real good talent in there. But Hugo was pretty close to opening the scoring there. Just got to do our job today. Well, guys, we're 10 minutes into the second half here. It's not been a very good game once again, like we saw against Monaco. We've not had the goals yet, as Barcola does well. Sends his man to the floor. Barcola picks out Christos on the edge, and he couldn't release the shot. And just sort of sums up our attacking play so far. We've got so much quality out there, but we just can't fashion a real goal-scoring opportunity. Well, guys, I was really hoping for some goals like we saw in the second half against Monaco, but so far it's been a really poor game. And Lille might just be thinking they can go on and claim all 3 points today, as Yamane finds Delap back to Hamza, and he spins away and drills in the opening goal. Oh my goodness, the former Rangers man, Hamza Iyamane, with an absolute rocket into that top corner. We've not been good today. We've got all that attacking quality out there, and we've not created anything of note. Just gives himself a couple of yards to get the strike away, and it's past the Captain Chevalier before he can even dive across to it. We got 10 minutes to save ourselves again, or we are inviting Monaco back into this title race. Well, that's going to do it, guys. We couldn't fashion any chances, and I thought coming to PSG and winning the Ligue title would be a formality, but if Monaco have won, which I said they had quite a favourable fixture at home to Guingamp, then they're going to be just 2 points behind us with 4 to play. And we, of course, have to play Marseille in our next game, which is going to be a real tough one. So I'm starting to feel a little bit nervy. Well, guys, Monaco were actually away at Nantes, and they did win, so the gap is cut to just 2. It is now that they face Guingamp at home as we take on Marseille at the Parc des Princes. And as I say, 4 games left to play. If we win them all, the title is ours, but we've still got to play Marseille, and we've still got to play Stade Rennais as well. And it only takes 1 slip-up, and Monaco can leapfrog us and go top. So this is by no means done yet, but we will jump into our next game. I'm hoping for a much better performance as I'm starting to hopefully get to grips with this team, but I'm expecting Monaco, who have won the French League a few times throughout the course of this save, to give us a tough game. So let's see if we can get the first of the 4 wins we need to wrap up the title here. Allez les Parisiens. Yeah, first time playing at home here at the Parc des Princes, so quite looking forward to this and hoping we can get the win that we failed to get last time out. That is beautifully worked, and Christos will find Bouadi and he will get us in front here early on. That is a lovely passing move. I know it was a little bit cheap to play it across to Buadi when I could have just gone on with Christos. But the passing build-up was lovely before we got there. And, well, after firing a blank in the last game, we needed to make a good start here. And that's exactly what we've done with the Frenchman giving us the lead. Oh, that's great defending by Diallo. Now Neves will find Mercado. Lovely hold up, and Neves gets there first. João Neves bursting from midfield. Neves! It's 2. And those midfield runners causing real issues for Marseille. It's a brilliant move again from PSG. Mercado did really well in the build-up. And the run from João Neves is not picked up. And we do look set for a big win that will put us 3 wins away from the title. But we're still leading by 2 early in the second half here, and Marseille have given it a go. And Monaco 2 up against Guingamp, so it does look as if they're going to win as well as they look to keep the pressure on. Mercado finds Barcola. It's lovely football, and Barcola for 3. It's a brilliant finish as the Frenchman secures the victory for the Parisians. It is going to be 3 games remaining in the league, and we will need just 3 wins to confirm ourselves as champions. Lovely football again. This is much more like it, as we have played some really good football in this match here against Marseille, and Barcola rounds off the win with a goal. Zuzi finds Ramos. Can we add a late 4th here? And Gonzalo Ramos. I'd love to get him a goal, and we will as well. A bit of an OG in this save, of course. We had him during our time with Napoli back in Season 2 and Season 3, I think it was. I'm not sure what season it was that we signed him. I think it was 3, actually. And he's returned back to PSG in this save. I think he's now 34 or 35 years old, but he will round off the victory with the 4th. And it is a fantastic win for PSG, which, as I mentioned, means that we only need to win our final 3 games to tick off the Ligue 1 trophy. Well, as we get back to the menus, I'm already pretty confident that Monaco won their game, as they were, I think, 3 goals up, and they did end up winning. So it does mean that the gap remains at 2 as we head into the final 3. So I think what I'm going to do, guys, is sim through to our next game. We've got the Champions League semi-final up next, but then we've got a tricky test away at Stade Rennais. So I think I'm going to play that game, as they are currently sat in 3rd place. So yeah, let's jump into that game. We have managed to play a reasonable number of fixtures in this season. It's always difficult with the league campaigns, because generally they're the ones that are simmed most, because it's such a long season. So knowing that we only had the Ligue 1 title to win, it was difficult to know which games to sim and which ones to play. But we'll jump into this one. Stade Rennais away from home, as we look to move an inch closer to the title. Allez les Parisiens. Well, the rain is really coming down here, and again, it's a strong team that Stade Rennais have got, so I'm expecting a tough game. As that header comes in, and Chevalier, the skipper, does well to get across his goal and make the save, but got to get that first touch on the ball. There we go, and now we could potentially break with Doué, and we've got bodies forward here. It's lovely football, and Neves looks for Mercado, couldn't pick him out. And no foul, says the referee. Barcola can't win the header. Reed will get there first. And it's Barcola again. That was a great chance we had just a moment ago, but couldn't make the most of it, as this time João Neves slipped through, and I didn't have the confidence to take it on with João the first time he was slipped through. But on this occasion, no way I was passing the opportunity to shoot, and maybe I should have trusted him the first time, because that is a great finish to give us the lead. Oh, that's a terrible free kick. What on earth is he doing there? Doué slips through Mercado. That is a terrible, terrible free kick from Stade Rennais. You can't give PSG goals like that. You know you're under pressure when you're playing PSG anyway. You cannot give them gifts like that. Doué slides through Mercado, and this man was never going to miss from there. He is so deadly. Well, guys, that is going to do it, and it wasn't a particularly exciting game, but it was pretty ruthless and efficient from PSG. We got our 2 goals and then just saw the game out in what were some pretty tricky conditions in the heavy rain, but that moves us one step closer to more victories to clinch the Ligue 1 title, and then of course we will just have one final trophy to win in this save. Let's get it done. Alright guys, well, as we get back to the menus, I have simmed through. We have actually made it to the Champions League final as well, as after we defeated Liverpool, where we will take on the Italians Juventus. As for Ligue 1 though, Monaco did win their game on the weekend, so they remain just 2 points behind us. So I think what I'm actually going to do is sim our game here against Toulouse. Monaco are also at home. You might be thinking, why are you going to sim? But it's just to save time. I think both of us will probably win, and we do our job winning by 2-1. And are we going to get the Monaco result? Not straight away. They did win, so yeah, that's exactly why I simmed, because we're exactly the same position as we were heading into that last game, heading into the final day. So a win will do it for PSG. We take on Montpellier away from home, so you would expect us to be favourites for that, with them being 15th in the league. Monaco are away at Lens, which is actually a really tough game, with Lens in 5th place. So even a point or potentially even a loss might be enough depending on Monaco's result. But it's all boiled down to this match day 34 of the season. Let's go and get the job done and get our hands on that Ligue 1 trophy. Allez les Parisiens. Well, we're 20 in here, still deadlocked at 0-0, but we should be feeling pretty confident at getting the job done. It's just the longer we go on still deadlocked, the more you start to worry that the goal is not going to come. As Mercado does well. Lewis Hall opens the scoring, and he's scored plenty of goals this season. I've told him that he can play very high in this system, and it is working out. I think that might be goal number 8 of the campaign. We'll find out at the end of the season when we do our roundup, but he has been phenomenal this campaign. Finds himself in the right spot, this time Mercado turning provider, and PSG have the breakthrough and are closing in on that Ligue 1 title. Maybe a goal from Monaco coming here. It is a goal for Monaco. It's 1-1, so they were a goal down. The goal alerts are so broken, man. They really need to fix it. It's been like that for years, as Mercado does well. Now it's Christos, lovely football. Mercado went for the chip, and the Montpellier keeper claimed it pretty comfortably. But 1-1 in the game against Lens and Monaco, but as long as we do our job here, it does not matter. Well, still leading by just 1 as we kick off in the second half, but we've been very, very comfortable. Montpellier have not really offered anything, and I do feel it is just a matter of time before that second goal comes, as Mercado, right on cue, bends home. And I love this man. I love him. When we inherited him at Atletico Madrid, that first season did not really go to plan, and I couldn't get to grips with the team or Mercado. It was a pretty poor team, but I stuck with him during that pretty hectic summer transfer window. He stayed at the club. I made him club captain, and he was phenomenal in the following season. I wanted to use him one final time before the end of the challenge, and here in Paris he has been phenomenal once again. 2-0 to PSG. Points look like they're in the bag, and so is the title. Oh, loads of space to drive into for Lewis Hall, and he's picked out Doué. Nice feet. There's Christos, fouled, but Bouhaddi will make it 3. And now we're turning on the style. That is a lovely little passing move. And the Frenchman Bouhaddi, who's chipped in with a fair number of goals this season, on target once again. And it is confirmed now. PSG 3 points, and the 3 points that will claim us the title as well. Oh, he's onside there. He's onside, and Dye gets one back from Montpellier. Bouhaddi to Neves. Can we get one final chance to add a 4th? Mercado releases Barcola, who comes infield. Mercado, Banzuzi. It's lovely football from PSG, and it is a fourth to round off the victory as well. Ezekiel Banzuzi, I'm a big fan of his. He's not had a huge amount of game time, as obviously we've not played too many games this season, but in the short time that I have used him, I've really enjoyed him. And Mercado with another assist. He is just a jack of all trades. Lovely finish on the left peg. PSG have 4. And we should see the title celebrations in just a moment. What a lovely way to round off the season. And regardless of the score in the Monaco game, we should see that title lift come the end of the game as we celebrate. I'm still waiting. Doesn't look like there's a title at the moment. And there it is. And it will be Lucas Chevalier who will get the chance to lift it. I appointed him captain when I joined the club. No, please don't tell me the camera angle's all screwed. There we go. I appointed him captain when I joined the club. He's been here throughout the whole course of the save. What are we now? 12 seasons in, I think. And Lucas Chevalier will lift the Ligue 1 title for PSG. It's no surprise that we won it with the Parisians. That, you know, I said when we were with Monaco, and I've said throughout this episode as well, it is so difficult to compete with them throughout a 34 game season. We beat them in a one-off in the cup final back with Monaco, and I'm glad we won the cup with a different team, because I do think that is a bit more achievable. But competing with them in a 34 game season, it's just too difficult, man. Well guys, this is nice to see as well as we get back to the menu. Something we've not seen, I think, at all throughout the course of this save is one of our players winning the Player of the Season award. It is Hugo Mercado, who again had a fantastic season for us. And as we will get back to the menus, congratulations Hugo. And we will see, I think he was the top scorer, I'm pretty sure. Let's just double check. I mean, he's got 10 in the Champions League, and it was 25 in Ligue 1 as well. But Monaco did actually lose their game, so we end up winning the title by 5 points in the end. Lille in third with Stade Rennais in fourth. RC Lens with that victory didn't move them up the table. They will finish in fifth, with Lyon and Marseille 6th and 7th. As for the teams going down this year, it is Guingamp, Auxerre and Nantes who will head into the relegation playoff. As for the Coupe de France, well, how about this? I mean, we were knocked out really early on, which the board were massively disappointed about. But as you head to the final, Estac Troyes taking on AS Monaco, and they won it. Estac Troyes, who I think are in the second division. I need to double check, but I don't think we faced them this season. I think they're in Ligue 2, and they've gone all the way to beat our former club Monaco to win the Coupe de France. You love to see that. I love an underdog story. As for the European competitions, of course, we won the Conference League last year, and whilst I would have had Newcastle as favourites to probably go all the way, it was Hoffenheim against Club Brugge in the final, where the Germans won it by 2-1. I quite like seeing a team like Hoffenheim winning a European competition as well. I'm all for that. And as for the Europa League this year, again, pretty strong lineup in the quarters and semi-finals, but it was an all-Italian affair as Inter Milan took on Roma, and it was Milan who won it by 2-1 to get their hands on the Europa League trophy. And as for the Champions League, well, this hasn't actually been played yet, and what I'm thinking I might do is actually play it as a little bonus game at the end of the episode. We'll do a bit of a roundup first, and then we will jump into the game against Juventus. Of course, it means absolutely nothing, but it would be nice to close out with another Champions League trophy. And as for the individual player stats, it was the player of the season, Hugo Mercado, winning the Golden Boot. All of our front three were in the top 25, with Desiree Doué scoring 11 and Bradley Barcola managing 10. As for the assists, again, all of our front three in the top 25. Doué managing 5, with Hugo and Christos both managing 7, but it was Bradley Barcola with double that, with 14 assists, as he won the assist title this year and made it into the team of the season. But as for the clean sheets, as has been the story of this save, no matter what club we've been at, we've not really kept many clean sheets. Lucas only managed 6 in 29, and it was Andoni Pacheco of Monaco who managed 10, who wins the Golden Glove. And a full look at the player stats for those interested. Mercado ended up with 36 goals and 10 assists. Doué 17 goals and 7 assists. And Barcola, fantastic season, 14 goals and 18 assists down that right hand side. Lewis Hall was phenomenal, as I mentioned in that last game. Managed 8 goals and 4 assists. The same numbers as Neves. Buadi managed 7 goals, and Christos also doing really well, more from an assist front with 9 assists in all competitions. So yeah, everyone sort of chipped in, everyone from our front 6 and Lewis Hall as well chipping in from left back. But the squad we built was absolutely phenomenal. So as I said at the start of the season, it's no real surprise that we went all the way to lift the trophy. We didn't win it at a canter, as I said we might at the start of the campaign, but in the end 5 points clear of Monaco, who pushed us all the way, to be fair to them. But I think what I am going to do, guys, is jump into the Champions League final. Just a little bit of a bonus for those who might want to see it. If not, then I completely understand. We've done what we set out to do and won the Ligue title. But just as a bit of a bonus, I'm going to play the Champions League final. Allez, les Parisiens. Right then, here we go for the Champions League final. Just a bit of a bonus, a bit of fun, as it doesn't really mean anything. And we could be in already here as Christos finds Mercado, and what a perfect start. Back at Old Trafford, where of course we spent last episode with Manchester United. So back on English soil, and I was going to say, playing against a team who we could end up managing, as of course we will have to head back to Italy to win that final trophy, the Coppa Italia. Could it be with Juventus? Well, if it is, it looks as if it's going to be on the back of a Champions League final loss, as Mercado gets us off and underway. Christos finds Buadi, and now Reed has Barcola out wide, and I think Juventus are playing a back 3 here, so there is plenty of space for us to get at them in those wide positions, as Buadi finds Neves. And there's Christos. Lovely football. Mercado. Oh my goodness, what a save. That is probably the best save I have ever seen in FC. That is outrageous from the Juventus keeper. Corner will go short to Neves, who swings that into Barcola. It's nodded down for Buadi, and the keeper is in the way again. Neves finds Buadi. Look at the space. Look at the space, and Mercado's in the middle to prod home. Really poor defending from Juve. So much space for, I think it was Christos, who, yeah, fires it across the box for Mercado, who was never going to miss from there. And Hugo has 2 goals in the Champions League final. Oh, that's nice football. Fabio Silva gets half a yard, beats Upamecano, and Chevalier maybe should have got something on it. But Fabio Silva pulls a goal back for Juve from out of nowhere. Oh, Upamecano, he's having a terrible few minutes. Fabio Silva, what a save by Chevalier. And within the space of a few minutes, we could have been pegged back at 2 apiece. Really poor from Upamecano, who is struggling, and I might get him off in a moment, as Juve will take the corner short. Reed's done well to hold up Maya, but it will find its way into the middle, and it's a big block again, as we're just holding on a little bit. Panzuzzi finds João Neves, and he's got Mercado ahead of him. Slides him through. Hugo to restore the 2-goal cushion. Never going to miss, and that should be the Champions League wrapped up for PSG. Well, guys, I think that is going to do it, as Chevalier with a great kick, and now Doué finds Mercado, who can't get through, but that is going to do it for PSG. And like in real life last year, defeating Inter Milan, it is victory in the Champions League final against Italian opposition once again. And it only took us 1 year to rebuild this PSG team, but that is because we spent over £500 million. So yeah, it's definitely a pretty good squad that we built here, and with Hugo Mercado leading leading the line. He is one of the best strikers in the world at this point in the save, 12 seasons in. But just a bit of a bonus for us. We obviously have already won the Champions League. We're not going to put 2 trophies in the trophy cabinet, even though we've won it for a second time. That could go along with our 2 Coupe de France trophies as well, one with Monaco. But it's nice to get our hands on the Champions League once again, and Lucas Chevalier will get the chance to lift the trophy. That will go along with our Ligue 1 trophy, which is the one we really needed this season, and it is a European double for PSG, winning the Champions League and league title as well. But guys, that is where we will end off today's episode. Obviously, we've already gone through the kind of season roundup as we usually would, and of course we will be heading back to Italy in the next episode. We've got 3 seasons left in this save before we hit the 15 season limit, and all we need is 1 final trophy. It's the one we really struggled to get our hands on when we were with Napoli way back at the beginning of the save, but I'm not sure who I'm going to end up with. I have to say, this Juventus team is quite enticing, but I wouldn't mind heading to Milan or maybe Roma or Inter Milan as well. I'm not too sure, but we'll see where we end up come next episode. But thank you guys for watching. I will see you for that next episode. Could be the final one if we can get our hands on the trophy, but as I say, we've got 3 chances to win at that Coppa Italia. So I'll catch you in the next episode very soon, guys. Take care and peace.